Very good afternoon to all of you. I welcome all of you to our session on uh, MMPC 019, which is covering the total quality management. We have discussed the first block, that is block 1, an overview of TQM, the first two units. In the first unit, we discussed about the various um, small tidbits about TKM. In Unit 2, or in the last session, we had a discussion on the leading thinkers who have brought forward this TQM approach, and they have made it such a propaganda that most of the enterprises are adopting that day by day, or most of the successful organizations have already adopted the TQM approach. Now, today, after knowing the basics as well as how the idea of TQM has come forward, we shall be discussing about what builds the TQM. When we say builds, then we are talking of what are the things that are necessary to have the TQM, or the total quality management, in an organization. How can we implement it? So, unit 3 of block 1 is building blocks of TQM. Uh, we shall discuss about the various things about the building blocks of TQM as we go forward. We begin with the core values of TQM. That means the TQM, why it is there, what for it has been developed, or why it has been successful. Now we look at the core values of TQM. Always remember, as an organization, whatever we do, we produce items, be it goods or be it services, and which has to be passed on to the customers. So it is the customers who, who in a sense, who move the organization in a particular direction. So TQM must begin with customers. In other words, when we say must begin, it means TQM should be based on how the needs, the requirements of the customers in the marketplace should be fulfilled. And it ends with customers. Once we know what are the needs and requirements of the customers, the organization tries to produce the items, be it goods or services, so that the basic requirements are fulfilled by the products or services. Second value that we are talking is decision making should be based on facts. In an organization, while we are going for the approach of TQM, it requires lots of decisions. Decisions are there due to problems or confusions. Now, in order to overcome this particular problem, or you can say the drawbacks or the errors in an organization, the top management or employees also, they go for decision making process. Now, in order to decide upon the possible solution or the best possible solution for a particular problem, the things should be based on facts which are actual and which are measured. We don't go by hearing from the mouth, we go by actual facts. TQM involves continuous improvement. Now, one may say that innovation may bring in better business opportunity for the organization. Now, innovation is such a thing that once a organization innovates a new product or new process, they stop the thinking process there and they continue with that. So it may help other organizations or competitors to come up with further new innovations, and the original organization may lag behind. However, the total quality management says that there should be continuous improvement in the features of the product or services, be it in the process, be it in the skills of the employee. There is no stop to this continuous improvement. TQM also tries to tell us that partnerships should be encouraged. Now, partnerships with whom? Basically, partnerships, the organization has partnerships with uh, the suppliers, with the customers, with the authorities, with the stakeholders. Because when we produce the items, we have to depend upon all these factors. Suppliers will provide us the components or the parts. Customer, who are the basic of our TQM process, they will be providing what are their requirements, and after the things have been produced, when it is delivered to the customer will give feedback regarding how the product or the service is performing to match their requirements. Similarly, we also should have partnership with the authorities. That means what is good for the economy in a whole or the environmental things, etc. So partnerships should be encouraged if you are going for TQM. Usually what happens, the employees or the lower level employees in an organization, they are reluctant to come forward with ideas. Even though they have better ideas, they it is the general human tendency that they think that if uh, somebody will say that no, your thing will not be accepted, or the top management will say that instead of doing your work, why you are involved in some other things, etc. No, it is the employees or the lower level employees who actually work in the processing line. They know about what is happening in the process. So they can think about new things that will help the process to develop. Now, employees should be given or empowered to come forward with such ideas which will help to improve the processes. Now, let us see what are the beliefs of total quality management. Set of beliefs developed to adopt and implement TQM. When we are going to implement the total quality management in an organization, what is our expectation? What do we believe as the top level management could happen to the organization? So, here the beliefs can be people are untapped resources. What do we mean by that? Yes, human resources or people are those who work for the organization, produce the items which will fulfill the requirements of the customer. Now, many of the organization it has been seen that the top management or the supervisors or the middle level managers they focus on the employees doing what has been asked to them to do. Employees, whatever the task is given to them, they will only do that thing. They will do nothing else. Now, here what happens? Not all people have the same kind of thought process. Many employees are there who are working in the processing line. They think about what can be done to make the process better. They come up with certain new ideas, and this can help the organization in developing the total quality of the items. So the organization should never think that people are there only to do or carry out the tasks they have been asked. One should think from the TQM angle that people can come up with very good ideas, very innovative ideas. That means they are the best resources since they work in the processing line. They will give certain ideas which will be very helpful to the organization. So the first belief of TQM is people are untapped resources. So organizations should think broadly and make the best possible use of this people talent. People who do the work are in the best position to improve organizational processes. Just now we said or discussed that simply people in an organization are asked to do certain task and do nothing else. We say that they are untapped resources. But since they are in the best position in the processing line, they think about how the process can be made better. So, people who do the work are in the best position to improve the organizational processes. Another belief of TQM is continual improvement. Instead of thinking that we shall innovate certain item or thing or an idea and we shall stop there, the answer is no. There should be continuous improvement. be in the process, be it in the features of the items that are being produced, that means the product or the services, the improvement factor will never cease to exist. It will continue, or the process is continual. The major focus of the organization is towards value driven behavior. When we talk of value, we talk, in other words, how to get the best output from a given set of inputs. Higher the outputs we get from a given set of inputs, we say that the value has increased. So we say that the organization's focus should always be value driven. They should always be in a lookout for improving the value of the products or the process in order to generate the valuable items. Prevention as opposed to detection. TQM says that prevention is better. In simple terms, we have used a phrase called as prevention is better than cure. What it means? If we talk about our human body, then we take such kind of actions which prevents diseases to infect our body, like uh, drinking filtered water or boiled water after it gets cooled down during the rainy season. So that what will happen? Any kind of germs, etc., present in the water, particularly during the rainy season, will be done away with. So we can prevent the waterborne diseases during rainy season. But instead of doing that, we go on drinking water wherever it is available, and one day we find ourselves that yes, our system has gone bad, we are having stomach infection. So thereby what will happen? Either you have to take the costly medicines, stay back, or take rest at home, or you may get dehydration, or you may get admitted to hospital. So if one would have prevented the disease, for prevention, the cost is very less, negligible. But once the disease has infected or detected, then you have to take corrective actions like taking medicines, going to hospital, etc., which becomes very costly. Believes that go for prevention, don't wait for detection of problems. Another belief of TQM is organization wide involvement and commitment. Now, when we are implementing the TQM in an organization, it is not the only duty for, it is not the duty of the top management only, or the middle level manager, or the divisional manager, or the supervisors only. It also belongs to the general workers also. All have to work in unison. They have to get involved. They have to think about the quality management process, which will make the organization a quality organization. And It is not only for showing off. Today we do it, tomorrow we don't do it. We should be committed to this particular direction. Now, what is the importance of total quality management? As it has been seen in many organizations which are practicing the total quality management in their systems. Uh, we say that forget about everything. We have seen the results. That means total quality management, if it is applied through involvement of all in the organization as well as commitment, then the organization is going to be successful in the future. It may be nearby or it may be in the coming years. You can see examples of many organizations, like let us think about some of the Indian companies, like you can say software companies are leading in that, Infosys, the TCS, etc. You also have the manufacturing, automobile manufacturing sector, like the Hero Motor Corp. You also have the car manufacturing like Maruti Suzuki, etc. All are following the total quality management policy. Similarly, nowadays we can find lots of very good healthcare hospitals are coming forward, which adopt very uh, quality characteristics in their working. So already we know that yes, if the organization is adopting TQM, it is going to be successful and it has been seen also. So it has a proven track record. TQM combines and integrates many management approaches. Total quality management is not a single approach or management approach of its own, but it combines many different management approaches. Uh, One is scientific management. Uh, when we talk about scientific management, we talk about the use of the statistics, the use of various kind of formulas, etc., use of various kind of experiments which will help in the processing part, so that the customer's requirement are fulfilled, at least. It may be more than that, but at least their requirements will be fulfilled. Group dynamics. Now, we know that a team is a better team if it works single mindedly. An organization is always a team, it has many minds, and we know that human minds or individual minds will be differing from each other. However, if all of us come together in a organization, our purpose becomes one, we work in a single direction, then the group dynamics comes into the picture. That means we generate synergy. Training and development. In order to have the total quality management, It is not only the top management or the middle level managers like supervisors, divisional managers, etc., who will have ideas on the quality policies. Everyone should have the quality policy ideas. How can we do that? Now, through proper training and development. Achievement motivation theory. It is one of the management approach where it says that if a particular worker achieves certain benchmark or standard or the thing, the target that has been set for them, then they feel elated in the sense that yes, I have achieved something, and that motivates them to achieve further and further. That means going higher and higher. Employee involvement. TQM requires the involvement of all the employees. The employees should be motivated, they should be skilled enough, they should have proper training and development, and they should participate in the development of quality approach in the organization. That is the employee involvement. Next is linking pin organization. What do you mean by that? Now, in many organizations, we find quality groups are formed across various functional areas or various divisions. It may so happen that for a particular quality group, a certain person is the leading person or the manager, or you can say the leader. It may so happen that the same person will be working in another group but not in the leadership position but as a part of the group. So, thereby, what happens? The skills of the person not only is helping the first group where the person is the leader, but also helping the ideas of the first group where he is working as a leader, whatever are the ideas generated, that is passed on to the other group where he is working as an where the person is working as a worker or a part of the group instead of being leader. So here we find the various groups or the quality groups in the organization, they have overlapping characteristics. That means people will be working in a number of groups, either in leadership position or as a group member, and the ideas, the approaches are taken up by all the groups in the organization easily. Organizational development theory. It says that a organization can be developed if there is a particular vision. Here the vision is to make the organization a quality organization. How? Now by implementing the total quality management principle. Corporate culture. Uh, we know that many organizations are there that work in a traditional format where the entrepreneur is acting as the owner, but still many organizations are there where anyone can become the top executive of the organization. So depending upon the corporate culture, the quality management principle should be adopted. The total quality management should be consistent with the values. Now let us discuss about what are the various success factors for total quality management. Uh, when we say the factors, the first is why TQM should be applied in a particular organization. What is it trying to achieve? That means aim and objectives. So, aims and objectives of total quality management should be clearly defined. Any policy to work in an organization should have the support as well as the commitment from the top management. Unless until the top management does that thing, it is very difficult to apply an approach to the organization. So, support and commitment of top management is one of the key success factors of TQM. Time to apply TQM approach. Now, one may say that uh, when you are applying TQM, usually it is not done to the whole organization. We take a part of a process and we try to apply the TQM approach. We train the employees, we give them the proper basic tools and techniques that are to be adopted, and we try to see what is the improvement that is being generated to that portion of the particular organization. If it is giving better results, the words will spread throughout the organization. Now, we can go on forming more and more groups if the results are encouraging in the organization. Thereby, a time will come when the organization is a total quality organization. It may take, the time scale cannot be predicted easily. It may take maybe few months to a number of years, but definitely it is going to happen. Resources for TQM. Now, in order to uh, have the total quality management in the organization, we require certain resources. Resources in the form of human resource, like the head of the TQM department, we can say. A person will be assigned the task to work as the head. Under the person, uh, many sub-staffs will be there, maybe from different functional areas or different segments of the uh, production process or conversion process, etc. Human resources is one. Second is, you also require resources in the form of materials, like the office requirements. The furnitures, you may say, the systems, the required documentation, things like papers, etc. You may also require resource in form of capital also, because the people working in the quality management department, they should also be paid handsomely. So various resources have to be arrangement so that TQM becomes a successful one. Personal attributes. We know that individual to individual, our attributes are different. Some may be individualistic, that means they will be saying whatever I say, that is the correct person. But for TQM, you require the personal attributes to be as a uh, guide, as a leader, as a uh, pathfinder, etc. Strategic planning. Now, why should apply the total quality management in the organization? We should have a long-term vision for that. Why we are applying total quality management? So that is strategic planning. Steering group. A group will be formed in the organization, cutting across various departments or functional areas, or the conversion process points. They will be directing how to go for the total quality management. And we should be ethical in our approach. Whatever we do, there is nothing to hide about. It should be publicized not only in the internal forums, but also in some cases in the external forums also. Everything should be as per the actual facts. No false things will be shown. So adoption of ethical approach. Now, what are the barriers or stumbling blocks in total quality management? That we shall see. Uh, when we say total quality management, we say that overnight it will bring about a improvement or marked improvement. Now it is not that way. It comes phase by phase. When we apply the total quality management, it continues for a fair length of time, then the magnitude of the TQM impact comes forward. Second is setting average goals. Now, when we are going for TQM, we get excited and set up such kind of goals which may not be possible to achieve by the employees. that will hinder the application or implementation of TQM. So what we try to say, set average goals which employees can achieve. Once they go on achieving small targets or average goals, definitely they will be motivated to do more and more. The third stumbling block in TQM is lack of training. People say that, oh, quality, we know about that. We can maintain quality. No, in order to have the ideas about quality, we require training programs. Not only once, but also on a regular basis. So there should be proper training of the employees. We might have seen in many cases, suppose think about government officials, etc. We'll be finding that every 4 years or 5 years, they will be going for training programs so that they can know the latest advancements and which they can apply in their particular sector. So TQM faces a stumbling block through lack of training. Making continuous improvement complex. We said TQM is continuous improvement. It does not stop at a particular point. It goes on a continual basis. Now, if you make the process of this continuous improvement very hard to understand, uh, creating confusions, etc., that means making it complex, then the whole thing will fall apart. It is not that everyone can have the ideas in a better way. Another stumbling block is inconsistent behavior. Uh, Human beings or the employees or the workers, we know that uh, their behavior is different from each other. Uh, it is very difficult to have a standard behavior pattern for the workers. However, we can make them understand that to work in a particular framework will make the total quality management successful. So inconsistent behavior is the stumbling block. When workers or the employees are working and TQM is being implemented, suppose a worker is getting or achieving the target. Now, the worker will be getting his regular remuneration, yes. But the worker, since he has achieved the target, apart from the income or the paycheck, they also have something in their back of mind that should I not get a certificate for this? Should I not get a prize for this? Should I not be felicitated with this? So, the workers' efforts should not go unnoticed. If you ignore them, then it becomes a stumbling block in TQM. Now, one of the widely used term in total quality management is PDCA cycle. Plan, do, check, act. It is developed by Seward and then it was modified by Deming. Uh, it makes up the control cycle of the process. How it is done? Now first we plan for that. Plan how to implement the total quality management, or what are the activities we are going to carry out for which TQM is to be applied. Then the actual work begins according to the plans. That means we are doing it or carrying out the activity. Now when we carry out the activity, the actual results are compared with the planned results. Thereby what will happen? The deviations or the differences will come out. If the deviations are bad, then you have to take necessary corrective actions. That taking necessary corrective actions is our act. That means how to resolve the problem or approve the problem. Now, once this problem has been eliminated, don't think that it has stopped. Again, we go back to the beginning. We plan for another activity. We do it. We check for any kind of negative deviations and take actions if such negative things are there. This is a continuous cycle or continuous process for the reason that we are calling it as a cycle. It goes on. So it makes up the control cycle. Now, as we said, Juran's 7th step, the plan, do, check, act, PDCA cycle. How to carry out as given by Juran. Choose a control subject. That means a particular activity or a particular portion of the conversion process. Try to choose it so that you can control it. Now, you also have a unit of measure so that the control subject can be measured. The measurement has to be clearly defined. That means whether it is number of units, whether it is dimension, whether it is the tensile strength, etc. Then set a standard value. That means set up a benchmark, standard value. Create a sensing device. Here we can say, let us take the example of an air conditioner. We set the temperature at a particular temperature, that is suppose 24 degrees C. Now as the air conditioner AC goes on running and the room temperature falls down to 24 degrees C, it automatically the compressor will stop working. It is not that it happens by its own. For that, a sensing device is there. What is that? A thermostat. So it tries to judge whether the compressor has made the room temperature fall to 24 degree. Automatically it will cut off the power supply to the compressor. So there should be a sensing device which will say that yes, this is the point where to stop the activity. Conduct actual measurement. While we are doing or going for activities in a operational process or production process, uh, we try to keep control levels. One can be upper control, one can be lower control. Suppose the length the length is between 10.5 centimeter to 11.5 centimeter. Now within that all the things are correct or qualitative items. Now if items are breaching those control levels, that means the standard values, automatically the sensing device will trigger a stopping of the process or indicating that the process is out of control. Now we have to interpret the difference. Now this difference, how much it is, why it has happened, that we have to interpret. Then we take a decision on how to rectify the defect and see that further it is not repeated. That means decision making and action. Duran's control chart, as we said, he has given a control chart where we have to answer questions like activities. Questions to activities like who. When we say who, questions can be who does it, who else can do it, who shall do it, like this. That means if a certain worker is working on a particular activity, if he fails to do that, who others can be able to do that thing. Similarly, out of them, who will be assigned to do that. Second is what. What is the worker doing? What else could he have done? What is to be done now? Where? Where is the worker working? Where else the work can be carried out? Where should it be carried out if the original place is not there? Similarly, questions like why and how. If you say about how can the work be done? How else it can be done? How it is to be done if it is not done in the original way? So these are the 5 W's and H that makes up the Duran's control chart. Now when you are talking of the PDCA cycle, from the customer's angle, we try to say these few things. Customer should be given the priority because it is the customer for which you are producing a qualitative item, because they are the reason for which the enterprise is existing. Customers' needs are incorporated into the process, into the planning stage, into designing, everything. How do we get the customer needs? Now through feedbacks. Feedback may come directly from the customers or from the field workers in the marketplace or through sales teams, those who are interacting with the customers, etc. According to the feedback, the specification is detailed, designed, and implemented so as to fulfill the customer needs. And the bottom line is doing it right first time. Do the item right first time. That means there will be no wastage. Then we talk about the Kaizen. In other words, it is a Japanese term which means continuous improvement. So management should encourage and implement small improvements involving everyone. Don't feel that immediately we shall apply big improvements to be brought about. Take small things, bring about small improvements. Let every worker to see that. Management practices should increase involvement of the workers or the customer needs. The values of the organization should be shifted as far as quality is concerned. The traditional values, they can be changed so as to adapt to the quality requirements. Simply he says that quality means a major transformation of attitudes. If we change our attitude, if our thinking process moves towards qualitative ideas, definitely we can have TQM. Some of the focus coming from Japanese words in Kaizen is waste, that is Muda. Then principles of motion study, that means what are the movements the worker is making in order to produce the item. Material handling process, that means the movement of materials inside the organization. The wastage should be as minimum as possible. Whatever we do that is bringing improvement should be documented as a standard operating practice. Then we talk about ergonomics, in other words, workplace organization. That is how it is to be arranged, cleanliness, discipline, etc. Also, we talk about just in time, that is JIT, and Pokayoke. When we are talking about Kaizen philosophy, it is also speaking about continuous improvement, but not innovation and stopping there itself. Continuous improvement is a continuous process. Customer is the basic focus under Kaizen philosophy. It says go for standardized items so that few components can make up large number of finished items. Reduce the wastes as much as possible and do the things right the first time. Then it talks about zero defects. In Japanese, it is called Pokayoke. And also Jidoka, which says the processing line will stop if any defect is found out. And this is widely adopted by Toyota Manufacturing Corporation. Also the just in time. The guidelines include start small, simple, have small time, publish the results, and once a project is successful, go for another project. Don't stop there. Now, when we look at the total quality management approaches, as it has been seen, that the basic development was in Japan. These are the ideas which created TQM, and it can be applied by all organizations. Thank you.